Okay guys, I wanted to do a quick video for you about mirrorless system. What is the big hype? Why are they so famous right now? Why are they so awesome? I don't really know. Well, I didn't know until now. I'm on the mirrorless bandwagon, and I'm going to show you guys what I think it's all about, and I'm going to show you my system and why I think it's awesome. And I think you're going to like some of my sort of methodology on how I do things. So let me explain how I do things. I've got a whole schwack of lenses here, and they might look like just a crazy bunch of variety, but there is some method to my madness, and it's awesome. Let me explain why. First of all, mirrorless cameras. What are they? I don't know. They're just cameras, and they're mirrorless. And I don't care about the technical stuff, but what I've been shooting with is the Canon 6D. That's a big digital SLR camera. Awesome camera. Love it. Still gonna shoot it. And when I got into Canon, I had switched from Nikon. And so all of my lenses are Nikon. All of these lenses are Nikon, with the exception of these two. We're gonna talk about those later. Nikon lenses, because I didn't want to buy new lenses. I've got the lenses, keep them, and the funky thing is you can just get the adapter and make your lenses work on the Canon system, and things like autofocus. Well, I don't have autofocus lenses, so I don't really care about that. You lose that function with these adapters. Not a big deal. I always shoot fully manually in everything I do in the world of photography, and I've got videos on that you've probably seen. So, mirrorless. Big news also for mirrorless. Panasonic GH5 just came out with their monster camera that is the #1 mirrorless camera on the market, and they are annihilating because they're taking Sony's and destroying them. Sony's that are twice the price, and the Panasonic GH5 has much better features. But I'm sure it won't take long for Sony to fire back, and that's what's going on in the mirrorless world. And why is the Panasonic so awesome? Well, for guys like me, it's so awesome because it can now do 60 frames per second in 4K. I don't know why it's taken so long for these companies to jump on board with that, but it's a very important setting or feature to have if you're a filmmaker. You need to have 60 frames per second to do a lot of that cinematic slow down type scenes. And what's the point on having 4K in the rest of your content and then having to slow down stuff in 1080p and put that in your 4K video and downscale it or upscale it or whatever the case may be? We needed 4K video at 60 frames per second. The action cameras jumped on that first. Finally, Panasonic GH5. I just went off there in another direction, but that's what's awesome in the mirrorless world. #1 mirrorless camera right now, Panasonic GH5. And it's cheap, like $2,000 for the body. That's pretty cheap considering Sony A7R2s are well over $4,000. So I've got a mirrorless camera, and this thing's El Cheapo even more so. I think it was only like 900 bucks. It is Samsung's NX500. Samsung completely discontinued all their NX line of cameras. I don't think they make cameras anymore. I don't know why, what they failed at there. Who cares? All I know is this thing's amazing, and I'll probably buy up another one before they go completely disappear on the world of the internet. Why did I choose this guy? Check this out. I gave it a cool little hairdo. It's all the rage right now in the DIY scene, and it makes a world of difference in your audio quality. It's just cutting out the wind noise, but let me tell you, it works tremendously well, and it takes 5 seconds to do. I'll probably show you in another video, probably the video after this. How about I do that? I'll do a little DIY on that. You can find a million of them on the internet already, but I'll do one for the people who subscribe to me. I'll probably just put a little fancy hairdo on my Canon 6D. Now I'm kind of going off and not getting to the point here, so let's get to the point. Samsung's NX500 is a mirrorless camera. This is like a 28 megapixel APS-C, so it's a crop sensor, which sucks compared to full frame, but it's still awesome. What makes this thing awesome is it does 4K video. It's got the articulating screen, for doing the vlogging, which I'm gonna try to do a lot more. And this thing's got the same dynamic range as Sony's a7R II, which everybody is familiar with. This has got the 14 stops of dynamic range, and it's got all the greatest features ever for me to use, with exception to the 4K 60 frames per second. And it's not the greatest at low light. That's where Sony would trump this camera, but this is $900, so you cannot complain. I don't care about low light right now. If I really need to get into low light stuff, I'll just jump back on the Canon. So why is mirrorless so awesome? The main reason mirrorless is so awesome is because of the ability to use a billion different lenses. The legacy lenses, just any lens you want to put on it. Mirrorless cameras, you can get any adapter for almost any lens system and make things work. And here's why I think my setup is super rad, because I've got all Nikon mount lenses, so obviously they work on Nikon camera systems, and well, they also work on my Canon camera system with this adapter, and now they all work on the Samsung mirrorless system with whatever adapter I need to get for it. And so I've got these lenses working on all my camera systems, and all of these lenses, I should mention, also work on my old school 35mm film cameras. So I mean, that's pretty crazy. I've got the same lenses for all of my camera systems, and so I don't have to waste any money buying lenses for this camera, that camera, and blah blah blah. That's a tremendous amount of versatility. That's what makes mirrorless so awesome, and that's why a lot of people are catching on to the mirrorless scene. And that's why all the legacy glass on eBay is starting to jump up in price, which kind of sucks, because I love hunting for good glass on eBay. But you can do that. I can get an L39 adapter, or what is it, the Leica thread mount adapter for the mirrorless cameras too. And I can use lenses that have the old thread mount from like the 50s, ancient stuff, and it'll work. And it just gives you a tremendous amount of creativity and versatility in not just filmmaking but still photography, or not just still photography but filmmaking, depending on what you're into. So this is my Samsung. All of the camera brands are making mirrorless cameras. They all kind of are comparable. I chose this one because of the price. It had all of the great features that I wanted, and it really is great. I've been playing around with it quite a bit. So right now I've got a Nikon mount, Rokinon 35mm 1.4 with an adapter to go to the NX here. I can throw anything on this camera system. All of these Rokinon Nikon mount lenses, Rokinon is awesome. You see it in my other videos. I highly recommend them for camera lenses because they're a fraction of the price. But again, I'm fully manual, and if you're not fully manual and you need automatic settings, you wouldn't go to these lenses. But I've also got Canon's ancient FD 85mm L series 1.2 legacy glass. It mounts to my whatchamacallit here, again with an adapter, so I can put this amazing lens on. I mean, look at that bad boy. This lens works flawlessly on this mirrorless system now, and I can't put this lens on my Canon, and it's a Canon. So I mean, these mirrorless cameras have a ton of versatility. The mirrorless camera came with a little automatic lens, which is awesome. It's got some optical image stabilization and all that fun stuff. I'll probably use that for vlogging and whatnot. I know I said I only shoot all manual, but I'll probably cheat and use some of the automatic functions on this, because why not? That's what the mirrorless rage is all about, and that's why it's so awesome for a guy like me, because I can take my lenses and I can put them on any camera system I have, because I chose to buy Nikon mount lenses. If I chose to buy Canon lenses, I wouldn't be able to do this. Or would I? No, well, they wouldn't work on the Nikon camera system. And if I chose to buy just these Samsung lenses, they wouldn't work on the Canon or the Nikon lens system. So starting with a Nikon mount system, I can shoot on Nikon, Canon, and then any of the mirrorless models. I mean, there's adapters for Sony, for all of them. and they're dirt cheap on eBay. I mean, these adapters here cost like $10 on eBay. They're a little bit more expensive on Amazon, but they're still cheap and a lot cheaper than buying a new lens, let me tell you. So that's it. That's my mirrorless setup right now. I shoot still live screen or live view screen thingy, and I always put a hood when I'm outside, so it's like that. And I can use the onboard audio for vlogging because I've got this fancy haircut on there. The rest of the features, I think they're all comparable to the other brands of cameras. You've got Wi-Fi. This thing's got the, if you guys know Samsung, they make awesome telephones like cell phones, and so it's got the Super AMOLED touchscreen LCD screeny thing. Super amazing. Best screen I've worked with out of all the camera systems, and the way it articulates is far better than the Sony systems or anything like that. So don't buy these though, because I don't want them to disappear and I don't want the price to go up. So just pick the GH5. There you go, and you're set. That was my sort of take on mirrorless, and I hope it kind of enlightened you into that category of camera technology. And I mean, all of this stuff is amazing because you're going to see filmmakers going crazy with super professional quality equipment at a fraction of the price of the big production film crews nowadays. So this is enabling a lot of artists to get super creative in both photography and filmmaking, and that's what I plan to do as well. I really want to jump into filmmaking and well, eventually get better at the YouTubing as well. That's it. That's all I have to say. If you have any questions about this system, let me know. I don't know if there's anything else I can sort of show you about this system. Here, I'll quickly do a snap of what this rig can shoot now. This is a portrait I did outside with the 85mm 1.2 on the Samsung NX500, and here's another one. And here's another one. It gives you an idea of what that combination can do, but I can put any lens system on it. So get out there, guys, get creative, have fun, and if there's anything I can help you with, just let me know. And if you like the content, subscribe, and I'll keep making more content. I got some awesome stuff coming up in the future, so stay tuned, stay cool, stay creative. Bye-bye.